Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Nobunagun Episode 9. And in the first half of this episode, the only thing really worth mentioning is the conversation VDoc is having with all these higher-ups in Dogu. Um, Dogu himself, or itself, that thing that isn't human, that just sits there in like that tube, like that thing, alright? That thing points out that, I'm pretty sure his name is Dogu, but he points out that in the last mission that they had, the one last episode, that's the main topic of the conversation. He mentions that all the invasion objects that time were invertebrates, which is weird because all the previous ones weren't. They were vertebrates. And what we know from the invasion objects is that they evolve. But this isn't evolution, it's de-evolution and then evolving in a completely different direction. And that's, you can't, you can't do that. So, VDoc proposes an idea of his own. He says that maybe the invasion objects have this supply of their original cells from when they first came onto Earth, on a meteorite, and they're using these original cells in their supply to create new invasion objects. This time, they're creating invasion objects that are invertebrates, right? And he ends up using the data that Galileo got in order to show that he believes these cells are in fact being protected by the battleship class. They're inside those tunnels when Geronimo and Six went down there and they saw like that one little like opening, like that one opening that was filled with invasion objects. And there were arthropods filled with cells, he believes. And that those cells, since they're important, are being protected by the other invasion objects. So VDoc says that he wants to destroy that battleship and all the cells inside of it. That way, the evolutionary invasion objects will have limits to the way they can evolve, and that way they will have less of a chance of beating everyone in Dogu. All right, which makes perfect sense. But unfortunately, they don't have the manpower to do it. Obviously, the first two platoons can't get it done because they got their butts kicked last episode. However, all the other platoons are busy as well because the invasion objects do not want that battleship to be destroyed, so they're making as much noise as they possibly can around the world, which is drawing the attention of other platoons that Dogu has. I know they mentioned Daizong was in Hawaii or something like that. He took out him and his platoon, third platoon. They took out some invasion objects down there and stuff. But yeah, so they have to stick with just the first two platoons, and that's the gist of what happens in the first half of the episode. The second half of the episode is more focused on Shio and Asao. Shio's in Japan healing up, and Asao came to see her. One of the things, they go outside, they start talking on this bench, and Asao mentions how she's training to become a nurse and she's volunteering and things like that. And she says that there are a lot of people come from other countries into Japan because Japan is safer than most places. And I found it funny that as soon as she says that, Japan gets attacked by invasion objects. Because I really don't see how Japan could be safer, since invasion objects come in from the shore and Japan is kind of, surrounded by water. I don't know how Japan could be safer than some landlocked country in Asia or Africa or South America or something like that. I don't see how it could be safer, but whatever. Anime logic, the main character lives there, so it must be safer. But yeah, since Shio doesn't have her AU ball, she can't destroy the invasion objects. So they're screwed. Saint Germain is there, though. We saw him at the beginning of the episode talking with Shio, and he shows up in a car and runs it right into the invasion object, drives it into a wall. But it ends up not really doing much. The car ends up blowing up, and it looks like he's dead. So then Asao tries to lead the invasion object away from Shio so that she can escape, because her life kind of means more than all the other people's lives, because she can actually fight against them. So it makes more sense for her to live another day and live to fight another day than the rest of them. So she kind of makes that decision, tries to lead it away so that Shio can escape, but Shio decides not to escape. She talks to Nobunaga, and kind of just she clearly Oda Nobunaga was a fan of Yu Yu Hakusho because he just taught Shio how to use Spirit Gun. All right, this is ridiculous. Like, it literally looked exactly like Spirit Gun. Like, she had her finger down here, and like the energy was gathering around. That she pointed it was exactly like Spirit Gun. Exactly like Spirit Gun. Alright? And she hit the invasion object with it, and it didn't destroy it, but it made it like die. I guess the lights in its eyes went out and it just sat there. So I guess that did it. But it used up all the energy she had though. Which isn't surprising since Yusuke could only do one Spirit Gun a day back in the day. So not surprising. But yeah, at that point they really are screwed. Shio can't do anything, Saint Germain can't do anything, Asao can't do anything. But then Jack shows up, alright? Jack shows up, he saves the day, alright? He beats all the invasion objects that show up after that. And that's that. The day is saved by Jack the Ripper. And after that, everything's all nice and everything. The sun is setting. Asao and Shio are having their little Yuri scene. And it's like they completely forgot, hey, Saint Germain is dead. They just completely forgot about the dude. So then when he ended up showing up next to them, it's like she completely forgot about him, and then she remembered. And he's like, what, you have a problem with me being alive? Like, what? So that was pretty funny. But yeah, he shows up again, so he's still alive. Then Asao ends up leaving, and Jack ends up going to Shio and saying he has something he needs to talk to her about. So that should be interesting. But yeah, that's it for that episode. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10 it's mainly because of the information we got from that meeting, V-Doc and the commander and Dogu and like the other higher ups. It's mainly because of the information we got in there. Because the rest of the episode, all the Yuri scenes with Shio and Asao, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. That's who cares really, unless you're into Yuri. I mean, if you're into Yuri and you liked it, then hey, you do you, all right. You do you. But I just didn't care. And the stuff after that, I mean, it was all right, I guess. I mean, who cares? Like, Asao was going to try and stab an invasion object with glass. I mean, no, no, that clearly isn't going to work. Saint Germain was cool, I guess, but who really cares? He found a way to survive. I guess you can try and spin that and say that he has some type of ability or something. But whatever. If he had an AU weapon, he probably would have used it instead of a car. But I guess you could try and spin it that way too. I mean, it's just it was just a mediocre episode. Actually, yeah, so let me give it a 7 out of 10 instead, because it really was just the information that we got there. That's literally it. So yeah, I'll give the episode a 7 out of 10. That's it. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.